Welcome, and this is Signature Morning. My name is Godwin Sunday. Well, this morning we'll be talking about the power challenge in the northern part of Nigeria. And joining me in this conversation is Buka Sulaiman, who is a social commentator and also an activist. Is joining us all the way from Zaria in Kaduna State. You're welcome to Signature Morning, Buka.
Good morning, fellow listeners and Nigerians.
All right, Buka, let's begin this conversation. First, we understand that in few northern states, ranging from Kaduna, Kano, Sokoto, Kefi, Jigawa, Kogi, Benue, and all over the northern region, there have been some form of power problem, electricity challenge, if you like to use that word. But where you are in Kaduna, bring us up to speed. What's the power situation like in Kaduna?
Well, it is quite unfortunate at the moment, despite the status of Nigeria in the face of the world, and we are facing this kind of electricity challenge. It is quite unfortunate. Nigeria should be bigger than this. As I'm talking to you, not up to an hour ago, they restored the light. Though information reaching us that the light was restored yesterday in the night, but the light didn't spend up to 20 minutes. They took the light off, and then this morning around 9:30 or so, the light was restored across Kaduna. But I have no privileged information regarding Kano, Jigawa, and other parts of the northern region. But as I'm talking to you right now, if you can see, you can see the light. It has been restored in the Kaduna so far. But even before the restoration of the light or the power, I want to say this actually. As far as developing economy is concerned, Nigeria being one of it, at this level, one of the most important factor that the citizens need is power, which is electricity to be precise. I want to tell you within the last 10 days that this incident have happened, a lot of people have suffered a lot of loss. And in fact, a lot of families could not be able to feed themselves because they depend solely on this power supply. And these are issues that the country should be able to understand that as far as Nigeria is concerned, as far as the economy is concerned, that the heart of the country depends solely 99.9% on this electric power supply. So Nigeria should not be playing around with things like this. These are things that will collapse the economy within a very, very short period of time. If you could remember, this is the fourth time the national grid is collapsing in October alone. In October, just October. And it has collapsed between the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari to his predecessor, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which we have a very strong hope on him. More than 105 times between that time to date. Why? And if you look at the amount of money that has been invested to ensure a stable electricity supply, it's just beyond what you can comprehend. And we don't know why, the country is still playing around as far as electric power supply is concerned in the country. Well, before I was thinking otherwise.
Yeah, Buka,
Yes.
at this point, there is a political
Yes, sir.
angle to this conversation, which I want you to also be able to
Yes.
clarify us on. Looking at it from the point of view of people saying that It is a deliberate attempt by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to punish the northern region. That's why there've not been a concrete intervention by the Minister of Power. Electricity have not been restored in the north. But how correct is this narrative that this whole redundancy and also the power failure has been targeted basically at the north? Please enlighten us on this. Is it correct?
Well, actually, if it will be my opinion, I know the Bola we know. Certainly, I don't think he is going to do something like that to the north. As far as the north is concerned, I can confidently tell you that the north brought the president into power. So I don't think at this early hour of the political regime of the president that he will start rewarding the north with this kind of action. But that has been the comment. It has been the comment all over the north that this is a deliberate attempt by the federal government or some political caucus that they want to ensure that they brought north as far as power is concerned to the level that they cannot be able to bear. And I don't want to believe with that, but you know, sometimes there is no way you can see smoke without fire. But we don't want to believe that. We want the federal government to do whatever possible.
Buka, so are we then saying that
yes,
basically that again, there's another angle to the story which people have raised, and that is the conversation that if it's not the government that is trying to play politics with the northern region, then definitely it is Northerners that are also at this point sabotaging the effort of the government. It is either way at the moment, or don't you think so?
yes, to some extent I can say it's sabotage. But you should be able to understand that even if we will agree it is the sabotage from the northerners, at this moment, the issue of electricity in the north started decades ago, not now. So even if the sabotage will be there, we can specifically say that part of the northerners have taken part in sabotaging the region some decade ago, and some political elites who feel that they can do and undo at the current dispensation are now trying to see how they can be able to contribute to what has been initiated long ago. Because this is not the first time, and this is not the second time that we are facing this kind of challenge in the north. But you should understand, even with the level of the grid failure within the last 2 months, I want to tell you it was a national issue. It was just recent that it happens that only the northern part of the country is being affected by the power failure, and that has been attributed to bandits vandalizing some of the facility. And even for the team of TCN to be able to visit the affected area, the president have to give a kind of order for security forces to be with them throughout the process. Of course, the bandits are from the north. So even if we say it's sabotage, of course, the bandits can be politicized, and to some extent, some people or some personalities of the north can be able to have, you know, some influence over what has happened. But it is just quite so unfortunate. But the federal government is seeing, and the northern governors are seeing.
All right, Buka. So just before you even make that, you even go on with that conversation, I want to also find out from you at this point. It's been 10 days since major cities in the north, major towns in the north have not seen power supply so far, from Kano down to Kaduna, Jigawa, Nasarawa, just Abuja, Kwara, and Mina have been exempted so far from this old challenge. At this point, one will begin to ask a question like, should we trust, can they not trust the government in restoring power in the next 5 days?
Even the
Yeah, so Buka, I'm trying to find out from you, can we trust the government, especially people within the north? Can they trust the government right now, even though the Minister of Power have come out to say that in the next 5 days, power will be restored back to in major cities and states in the north. But then, can we trust the government right now to ensure, especially Northerners that have hold sway to a particular opinion that has to do with the government telling them that they will fix the light in days, and it has spilled over to about 10 days and still counting. But the Minister of Power have come out to say that in the next 5 days, you experience the grid collapse and other outage of power will be a thing of the past. Can the Northerners now go back to sleep and trust the government to ensure that the government would deliver on some of the promises as made so far, Buka?
Well, I cannot tell you that the Northerners should just go back to no. We can't trust the government at the moment. Sincerely speaking, even had it been it was a national issue, I am very sure, I'm very optimistic, the government wouldn't have allowed this power outage to last for this number of days in the entire north. So I want you to understand something. If it were in the whole country, within 2 3 days, action must have been taken to ensure that the electricity is being restored. But unfortunately, because it only affects the north, that is why it takes all this number of days before it's being restored. So the Northerners cannot trust the government at the moment. And if at all the government want to restore or to ensure in the north, then most sincerely, there must be a serious commitment. A lot of funding must, we have only 3 stations that have the 330 kVA. If at all they want to ensure that we have, options, whenever this kind of issues happen, we have where we can be able to lay our hands, the government must commit a lot of funding to ensure that we have a steady electricity in the north. But if that is not done, I assure you, even in the coming days, only God knows what will likely happen. And the government should know that once this electricity is not supplied in the north, it's like you are killing the economy of the north. A lot of people find it so difficult to feed. You know how difficult the situation or people are finding themselves nowadays, and not to talk of now electricity not being available. Like, is the last resort that the people of the north have as an option. So whenever this light is taken for 24 hours, I assure you that you are subjecting millions and millions and millions of families into abject poverty. And in fact, I can tell you, many of those families will go to bed without taking anything in their tummy. So the government should know that the north is an important component of the country. We cannot, I say it 3 times, be neglected in such a manner. The government should find a way of ensuring
this brought me to the first question which I asked you when we began this conversation. I've asked, and I want to reiterate again, the perception of most Northerners right now on this issue is as though they are the primary target of the government, and the government is deliberately, the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is deliberately not intervening in the power sector in the north for the last 10 days in order to punish the north. I'm asking again, do you think at this point that this whole redundancy by the government is targeted at the North, Buka?
Of course, sincerely speaking, I can agree. That has been the notion. Even yesterday, I was discussing with some important scholars, and this was their view. But I wanted not to believe in this. But this is the view of the majority, that the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu are targeting the North. They want to ensure that the North suffers in this way. If they have nothing to do with this, as people are asserting, then within 2-3 days, the light should be restored. Whatever I do of the majority of the Northern,
all right.
So more than 90%.
So Buka, we're struggling to hear you at this point. We're trying to get you, but then if you're still there, Buka, would like to get more on this particular conversation, especially from the perspective of people within Kaduna, people from Sokoto, people from Jigawa, Nasarawa, Kebbi, and through to Borno, Maiduguri, Gombe, Bauchi, and other part of the North on this conversation. But we'll stay on track to ensure that we monitor the outcome. Okay, Buka, you want to respond to that quickly?
Yes. I will get responses from people, and then in our next conversation, I will be able to comment more. But I want to tell you that as far as the North is concerned, more than 90% are of the view that the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu are trying to punish the North with this electricity. As far as the North is concerned, we have nothing much more than this electricity as I'm talking to you. So by the time you shut down the power sector for 24 hours, I assure you that you are putting a lot of people into trouble.
Well, so thank you so much, Buka, for your time. Want to appreciate you. Then we'll go for this short break and we'll leave you with Northerners crying out to the government. A vox pop that was done, and thereafter we'll be coming back to the studio to have Mr. Emmanuel Abuson, who will be talking to us about agriculture in Nigeria. Please go nowhere. Signature Morning continues in a moment.
It is a reflection of a failed government, because in a civilized climate, it is unheard of, despite what we are producing in the country, that today we are experiencing total blackout in the northern part of the country. But I believe with time it may extend to other parts of the country. So the government is not actually doing well. That is my own personal opinion. Because what effort are they doing? What led to it? It is not even made known to the public. Because sometimes they will just allow certain things to go bad, believing that the citizen cannot do anything. They are capitalizing on the complacency and without the self-satisfied nature of the citizens. That's my own personal take on it. As far as I'm concerned, the government is to be blamed. Because when they have made up their mind to render essential services to the people, what aspect of the country is working effectively with respect to the services being rendered by the government? I suggest they should even allow the private sector to handle this thing.
See, I'm from Adamawa State, Temsa local government to be precise. And since I was born, we've not had light, not until 2 months ago. Since inception, since Nigeria was created, not until 2 months ago. Not my own part of it, there are no bandits there. You understand? So we should stop the blame game. It's not the fault of bandits. Let's not give government upper head so that they will not have what they will use as argument against us. It's not the fault of bandits, it's the fault of the government. Because I remember there was even a time in my village when they brought transformers. The same government didn't wire those transformers. Till we don't even know what happened to those transformers. For years, for more than 10 years, those transformers were there. Transformers bought with taxpayers' money. Nigeria's money, transformers, brand new transformers. How they vanished. Till I left my village, was going for Christmas for years, more than 10 years. The transformers were there. There was no light on the transformer. So let's stop the blame game. The government is our problem. The government should sit up and do what they need. The government should see government as business, not as where you come and steal money and frustrate people.
It's not good, sharp, for the thing that is happening, because it's affecting the business, and also it's affecting the productivity of the nation. For the citizens, and like for there's no light in the country now, is affecting the businesses of the masses. Businesses are not moving the way it's supposed to be. And for those that are behind the banditry, something that they're talking about, the government should please try and do something about it, so that at least people can go back to their various businesses, and it will help. It will also help to boost the economic of the country.
And the night wey no dey for north, light no dey for everywhere, and people are cry, people are suffer. May government help us for that light and security.